Hey guys, this is the XRP Cowboy. Hey, this is Billy. We're going to have the cowboy just stand down for a minute. We're going to talk about some important things. It'll be a little ramble, but when isn't it, right? We're going to talk about XRP, Bitcoin ETF. We've heard so much about it. It's just another perspective and understand that I'm feeling the pain, as well. What pain are you feeling, Billy? You don't know pain, boy. Oh, the sky in New York tonight is beautiful. I wish you were around to see it too. I'm so lonely I could cry. Why'd my best friend have to die like that? I threw up on a corner in Philadelphia. She said, boy, there ain't no real use in helping you. The only thing you ever owned were high hopes in a pocket comb, you fool. So don't act like you know who I am. 'Cause the more I explain, the less you'll understand. Those assholes downtown are the only ones around who even try. So look up tonight, 'cause she's shining and it'll be alright. The thing is about this Bitcoin ETF, I know everyone's saying it was a sell the news, but to me, if it was a sell the news, it wouldn't be trading inside this range that it was trading in, since before the ETF. And I understand that the ETF may have given momentum, but it hasn't, corrected back down to 35 or 36, has it? Or even 30. I don't even think it's gone as low as 38. 38, it may have gone as low as, but it didn't break through that support, which was resistance. We had this resistance, and it was a wide one. And it sounds wide because it was like 30, I would say 37.8K to, some will say 38, some will say 39, some will say 40, but that is that's a couple percentage points. It sounds big because Bitcoin's, price is so high. But to me, it's just normal moves, right? A lot of people bought in hoping it would go up and then whatever. And we've got this race against the machine. But the question is BlackRock the machine for this ETF or Fidelity? I'm not so certain that BlackRock's going to win this race, but I don't care. I don't care who wins it. What I care about is, this is the thing that's amazing to me. Fidelity mines their own Bitcoin, and even BlackRock, I just have this weird feeling or suspicion that, these companies, well, whatever, we can get into that, later at another video. But bottom line is they're making money, on these ETFs. And, what's important, though, to the community is right now, at this adolescent stage, because we're not at maturity yet, we're not at infancy anymore, though. And that's important, and we will see price stability coming. And that could mean, we still have 30-40% gains a year, like a tech stock, right? That's really taken off. But these crashes 90%, I'm not saying it's there yet, but we're close. Because more money is going to flow into these ETFs. Dad, mom, grandpa, who we've been pushing crypto on, they're going to feel safe. They're not going to have to worry about the money being taken from them, because they got hacked, because the money's insured. And, ultimately, it's going to open up so many doors. And the price of Bitcoin is going to go up. And the more it goes up, the more people are going to FOMO in, and this is why this is so important to me. They're going to have this awareness. This is a globally traded thing, right? And what's going to happen is they're going to start getting a little more confident. They're going to be telling their friends they're invested in it. And they made them 20% in the last 2 weeks, and they're going to think that's great because they're used to traditional markets. And they're going to start, greed will set in. And greed has a lot of faces, right? They're going to buy extra, maybe sell some Apple and buy more. And we're going to see this constant, steady line going to the upside. That is inevitable. Warren Buffett, I don't know what's going to happen tomorrow, but I know what's going to happen. I think he said in 5 years from now. I don't know that quote, but I don't know what's going to happen tomorrow, my dreamers. But I know what's going to happen 6 months from now, and it's going to be good. And when the tide comes into the harbor, all ships rise. And this is going to be an interesting scenario that no one's really speaking of. It will be escalated, and there will be a multiplier, because now, let's just give it 6 months of people doing good and bumping their buddies on the golf course. Hey, I got this Bitcoin, whatever. And it's not something for terrorists or whatever, it's an ETF. It's not that bad. But they're going to start seeing these, they're going to have this awareness to where they're looking at other cryptos. And now they may start dipping their finger into that. And even if they don't, we're going to, the altcoins are going to see the bigger gains. But we may see this unity, to where people are going to take that little extra step to buy the altcoins and stuff before they're an ETF. And I'm not so certain XRP isn't going to be the next one. Ethereum, they could have some legal issues coming, and that could be just enough to where BlackRock says, oh, we're going to hold off on this for a minute. I just don't see how something that's had so many allegations, and people could argue, like with the foundation, corruption, or just illegal activity, that it's going to just be smooth for them. The world loves balance. Listen, ETH did not have its explosive move to the upside until XRP had a lawsuit dropped upon it, which makes me think a lot of the XRP market cap transferred into safety, which was Ethereum and other altcoins. And now there's this weird plague, that falls upon us. But remember, where most people aren't, that's where it is. The higher the intensity, the less people you're going to find there. But I promise you will be rewarded for that. And I can't even believe this Chris Larson hack shit happened. And it's funny, when I got hacked, there was no one there to save me. And I reacted immediately too. They just let them take it. Coinbase. But anyways, I thought that was an interesting perspective. I'm confident. I think, the bottom's almost in. We might see a flash crash to 45. It seems like it would make sense, but those little wicks down that happen for a second, I never really count them. I really think, I don't know if we hit 48 cents today, but I don't know if we will, but I think 48, it should be the recovery if we're not already doing it. There's no reason we should be at the price we're at right now. I wrote some notes. Ripple. What people don't understand about Ripple is they're a fucking monster. Sorry, Billy. They're a fucking monster. What they're doing is with all these non-disclosure agreements, they're creating a web around the fucking planet. Now, you can look at their bank partnerships, but you also have to remember, banks have their own partners, and they all kind of run on the same infrastructure. So let's say you had one bank partnership, but they had 100 partners. Effectively, you could argue, you could also debate that maybe that means that one bank partnership means 50 or 60 partnerships. And what do they have, over 300 that we know about? We have all these great things happen, but no one ever speaks. There's no whistleblower here, which is so crazy for this long. It makes me think this is bigger than I ever expected it could be. I mean, people will not talk. And it's almost like they're like, you mentioned Rebel, they're like, boom, silence. And then a brand new day. I wasn't scared of him anyway, right? Um, there was a nightmare on my street. It's like they're afraid they're going to wake up with a horse head next to them or something. A horse head, not a horse head. That's different. One's bad, one isn't so bad. And I'm not talking about the head of a. Oh, I'm saying just there's a girl there. You get it. But anyways, so I just think that's interesting. What is this? TBS or whatever. You know, that's just dumb. I mean, you know, people like to talk about transactions per second, and they say, "Oh, it's not as good as this or that." It's about security and longevity, and Ripple and the XRP ledger. We've got that. It's the oldest altcoin in the world, and they've never had an issue. And let's be honest, it moves money faster than the current system. That's what's important. You know, I think if Ripple was I'm sorry, XRP was created today, it probably would have a lot more transactions per second. But they can fix that. They can change that. But you don't want to go changing things when you're this close, you know, to when you have this infrastructure built, and you're this like close to accomplishing, you know, everything you've been working so hard for. Sometimes change implies weakness. You know, they don't have to do everything, but they're going to. Let me see. I mean, this is all just bullshit. Stable coins. Remember, Brad Garlinghouse said a stable coin is measured by how quick it moves and how much it fluctuates in the movement of the coin. And I know the whole thing right now is about stable coins. And you know, Brad Garlinghouse went on TV and said, it's, you know, when we send payments, the I guess you'd call it slippage, is less than the US dollar. It's a stable coin. He pretty much implied it is a stable coin. You know, even the US dollar changes price. You know, it's not about if in a day it goes up 30 or 40% as much as it is how fast does it move in a few seconds. You know? And, you know, right now we've got cross-border payments that can take up to 6 days, sometimes a week, sometimes just a day. And it depends on how much you send. And believe me when I say this, they're not just charging you to send it and receive and to validate it. They're also holding it to manipulate it on both ends, the exchange rate prices, because they want to take a little bit of that slippage and profit from it. This is why they get delayed. You know, I mean, we've got Nostro Vostro accounts. It should be instant, yet it still isn't. These are the things that the banks are concerned about because they want to make that money. They have to figure out how they're going to make that money, you know? Well, they already know how they're going to, but you guys, love, hope you're doing well. We're going to be all right. Please like and subscribe.